Today, I'm talking with Hirsch Agarwal, and he's a solo game developer from India working on Cyber Seekers. Thank you for joining me. Do you want to start by telling me about your game?
Yeah, sure. So I'm currently working on Cyber Seekers, which is a third-person shooter game where you play as a bot, and your task is to complete contracts by destroying other bots and completing some quests. Uh, so in this game, your bot has got multiple abilities. He can run on walls, and he can also glide and use a grapple gun. And along with that, you get access to various different types of weapons, which increase in power level as you progress through the levels. So it is kind of a roguelite where if you die, you lose everything, but you do retain a few upgrades, which you can use to become more powerful in the next run. And you basically use what you have learned to progress further in the level. And there is a very short story in there, and the basic design, the reason why I wanted to create this was I really enjoyed prototype and the Arkham games, and I kind of wanted to create something which blends these two together, so that you have the traversal of prototype games and also something of like something from the Arkham games. And recently, I was also playing this game called Returnal, which where I really like the roguelite elements of it, and how we progress through the game and get new weapons, different. Like every run is different from the last one, and I kind of wanted to blend all these things together. So that is where the idea came from, and I started working on it.
Is this your first game?
No, this is not my first game. So during my college time, I worked on another project which was called Rogue Bots, and that was a game where I was still learning the engine, and it was kind of my first try at a solo game, which I created on my own. But it wasn't entirely, I wouldn't call it entirely mine, because I used to I used various several like free assets and all to design the levels. And I it was a very short game. uh, it was just me like learning the engine and just going about it. And uh, I released it on Steam. So that was, my first try at a game, and wasn't like uh, it wasn't successful or anything. It was a very basic game, and there were, like, barely anyone played it, to be very honest. But yeah, after that, I started working on this one.
And that one is, you said you released it on Steam.
Yes,
Is it still out there?
yeah, it's actually out there.
Tell us the title one more time.
It's Robots.
Roguebots.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how much of the experience from that were you able to leverage in this new game? Did you have to learn a lot of new things?
Uh, yeah, actually, I tried to bring in whatever I had learned over there, and I tried to correct the mistakes I made along the way. So it was, I didn't have a lot of knowledge on the uh, what you can say, like some of the basics of the engine and how I can uh, increase my output by leveraging various other tools and uh, basic coding paradigms. So I'm also a software engineer. I am doing a full-time job right now, uh, and that has actually taught me a lot of things, where I am coding and also learning a new very like many new things which I am applying to my current game. So these two things have actually helped me a lot, uh, where I have applied those things here, and I'm trying to make this game bigger than the previous one.
With your work as a software engineer, what kind of work are you doing there, and like what kind of language are you using?
So primarily, I'm a full stack developer where I'm using Spring Boot and Java in the backend, and I have also knowledge on Angular. So that's what I'm using.
Very cool. That's where a lot of my background is professionally as well as in web development.
That's great.
What engine are you using for your games?
It's Unreal Engine.
Unreal. How challenging has that been to learn?
Uh, I actually found it easy to learn because it has the Blueprint 6 scripting system where you don't really have to code anything, but you can use visual scripting to uh, create the base logic of your game. So I had started with that because someone in my college had recommended me to work with it. As I mean, it was he felt that it was a bit easier than Unity because you don't have to code anything. And I also started with it, and uh, I really enjoyed working with the engine. And uh, yeah, I think it's been great. I don't think there have been many hurdles, and what like I'm constantly learning new things. Whatever I want to learn, I go on the internet and search for it. So yeah.
How are you learning most of it? You said you're just kind of searching things when you need it, or are you taking any courses or read any books?
Nothing specific as such. I've uh, gone through multiple tutorials made on YouTube, and so those are kind of the basic tutorials which you go through, but then you kind of expand on it based on your requirements. So that's where you start kind of experimenting with things, and you start uh, learning new things as well. And there are multiple, you know, forums where you can like post your questions if you have any doubts, and there are many people who have existing questions, so you learn a lot from there as well. And like a really good list of tutorials you have from many other developers, and even Unreal provides a few good tutorials that you can go through. So yeah, that has helped a lot.
Have you used AI at all for learning? Do you ever ask questions there?
Not for game development, but yeah, in my normal like software engineering job which I'm doing, I have used a little bit, but not specifically for game development.
Personally, I find it a great companion when you want to understand concepts better, not necessarily for getting code, but just to clarify how something works. I find it's actually very intelligent in that regard.
Yeah, that's right. But I also feel sometimes that it doesn't give you the correct answers. So you have to kind of rely on Google as well to just cross check the facts. So yeah, but yeah, I do agree. It is helpful at times in many cases to just quickly get some answers.
How much are you using the blueprints versus writing the C++ code?
So if you talk about my current game, it's entirely in blueprints. I haven't written any code in C++. I have experimented a little bit with Unreal C++ in a different project. I mean, it's not a commercial game or anything, but it was just me trying to learn a few new things. So I have basic knowledge on that, but primarily it's blueprints.
Personally, I think the future of coding is eventually going to get into the visual scripting because you can just visually see the paths of the flow so much easier.
Yeah, and I actually there was kind of a debate like what's the best approach? Is it C++ or Blueprint? So someone had told that it's kind of both. where you are kind of trying to optimize things by writing pure C++ code. And for other simple things, you can just use blueprints. It's much easier over there. So,
Well, not to mention the blueprint nodes are C++. So if you need to
yeah,
implement a custom node, it will be C++, but you'll still use it as a blueprint as well. So they go hand in
right,
hand.
right.
Have you tried Unity or any other game engines?
No, I haven't actually tried Unity. I did wanted to go test it out once, but never got the chance because I started with Unreal and then uh, thought of doing a project on it. So once that project was done, I thought let's continue on this as well. So didn't get much time to dabble into another engine.
With Unreal, did you make any use of those Quixel Megascan assets?
Yes, I have. So the Megascans library is really good because you get different types of textures and materials, and they also have multiple 3D models. So if there is something like I want to create a background landscape, then it's really helpful over there. And uh, there are many materials which I've used in my current project as well that utilize Megascans.
I heard it's not going to be free anymore. Did you hear that?
Yeah, yes, I did hear about it. So, and I did not like that news, but that's how things work. Can't help it.
So, with this new game, when and where do you plan on releasing it?
So, yeah, this will be again released on Steam, and I'm planning to launch it by July of this year. Uh, and currently, I'm in the final stages of development. So, let's see how it goes.
I saw you were self publishing. Have you considered or tried finding a publisher?
Uh, so, as of now, no, I haven't looked for any publisher because uh, as of now, don't think that the scope of the game is that big to go for a publisher right now. And kind of, this is a project which I wanted to do everything on my own, from development to marketing. I just wanted to see like how far can we go if we are just trying out new things and learning new stuff. So yeah, not looked for any publisher yet.
And there's a demo available right now, right?
Yes.
And what systems does that run on?
Uh, Only on Windows right now, but it does support a controller.
Do you have any plan? It's just a single player game right now, right?
Yes.
Uh, any plans to do like a co op or any multiplayer?
So not as of now because I feel it depends on the player interest and how many players I can retain for the game. Because the thing with multiplayer or co-op is that you need a strong player base in your game to so that it lives on basically. Otherwise, it's like no one. If no one's going to play it, then it's not going to work at all. And I did not design the game thinking about multiplayer. So there are gonna be a lot of code changes to support that. And I don't think at this stage I'm ready to do it. But yeah, in the future, you never know.
Speaking of players, have you been getting feedback from your demo and do you actively seek out playtesters?
So yeah, I am still actively seeking playtesters. And regarding the feedback, so I sent out multiple mails to content creators, and a few of them responded, and they did try out the demo. So uh, and they generally post a video on YouTube. So I I do check out all of those videos, and it gives a really good feedback on how they are uh, interacting with the game and if they are facing any challenges. So that's a great feedback for me because they have helped me to change many things about the demo and improve it so that uh, like players are not stuck anywhere and they are able to have a great experience. And still, I'm looking for players for the demo, and possibly when the full game releases, I'll be looking for even more.
Are there any changes that you added to the game based off of feedback you've received so far?
Yes, I have added. So there was a tutorial level in the game, which initially I felt was a bit difficult. So difficult as in the so I mentioned that the you have the ability to run on balls, and there was a specific tutorial which required you to perform a certain move, which was really difficult to pull off. And because I've been developing the game, so I did not realize that it's difficult for a new player to perform. So that's where the feedback helped me, and I removed that in favor of a easier move so that the players can at least complete the tutorial, because your tutorial needs to be the easiest thing so that the player can at least complete it and go with the full game. And few more changes in the first level, which is in the demo. Uh, so yeah, like there was a part where the player has to complete a traversal challenge, and in that the problem was that some players were falling into the water while they were grappling, and that would result in an instant death. So that part I tried to fix where it wouldn't kill you immediately. So some small things like that I tried to fix here and there.
You mentioned wall running and the grappling mechanic. Are there any other interesting mechanics? And did you have any challenges in particular when trying to implement some of those?
So yeah, there is another traversal mechanic which there is a glider in the game which you unlock at the end. So there is a complete city level where you can use that, and it's very similar to how Batman traverses in the Arkham games. So you can glide and simultaneously use your grapple gun to keep yourself in the air for most of the time and cover a lot of ground. So that's one. And talking about challenges, so the wall running mechanism was the most difficult to implement because uh, I started developing it since I started working on the project, and I had no knowledge on how to implement it. So I had to go through multiple tutorials, and there were different ways to implement it, but many of them were not working out for me because it's like completely dynamic. The player can move anywhere on the wall. So that was a huge challenge, and it took a lot of oil to uh, completely get it done so that it's actually fun to traverse on the walls. And yeah, that was uh, one of them. And I think apart from it, there was nothing as challenging as that. But I really enjoyed working on the glider part, so that was something I wanted to implement. And I think it came out really nice. The overall mechanic and how it plays. So yeah, uh, I really liked it, but let's see how the other players will enjoy it or not.
Can you talk about the weapons and the abilities and things like that?
Yeah, so as I previously said, like the weapons are kind of they follow this uh, they follow this mechanism from Returnal where you have this proficiency level which increases as you defeat enemies. So here I kind of have the alert level, which again increases as the depends on like how many bots you kill. So once you have a higher level of alert level, you get a better weapon from the crates. So there are like multiple crates in the level, which gives you a random weapon, and these weapons uh, are connected to the alert level. So their power is based on what your current level is, and yeah, so there are four types of weapons in the game. You have got your rifles, your shotguns, and your grenade launchers, and you've also got a pistol, which is your base weapon. And all these weapons have a secondary ability, which you get when you have a higher level weapon. So that's about the weapons, and you've got some abilities as well. Like you have got a telekinetic pull, which you can use to uh, pull enemies telekinetically and throw them away. And you've also got overload blast, where you can just create a small blast which destroys all the nearby enemies. So yeah, these are some of the abilities you have.
How about assets for the game? Are you doing all the 3D modeling and the texturing, or are you using some marketplace assets?
So I'm not a 3D modeler, and I'm not even an artist. So uh, I have not created any models for the game. Most of them are assets from the marketplace, and but I have worked with the user interface of the game and some of the base texturing. So the UI is like completely made by me, and so that's where most of my work went, apart from coding, of course. And uh, the yeah, the models are from the marketplace, and uh, for the characters and the other assets.
How about the music and the sound effects?
So the sound effects, some of them I got from the internet, and I kind of placed together multiple tracks to create a like I used a software called Audacity to make some changes to existing sound effects, and also the Unreal Engine's uh, like the engine's got a way to manipulate sounds, like how you want to play them in your game. So there are like multiple options where you can change the pitch, the volume, and many other stuff. So using that, I was able to modify my sounds and create what I want. And for the music, there are a few people who have helped me out. So they have wrote some great tracks for the game, which you can hear in the levels, and also some of the trailers which I have posted.
How did you find those people to help you with the music?
So I kind of regularly started posting on Reddit and X about my game. So uh, after like some of the posts got some traction, and some people reached out to me who wanted to do music for the game. So that's where I found them, and they sent me a few samples. I really liked them. So that's where we started working together.
Which subreddits are you posting on?
Um, So first, I started posting on the Unreal Engines subreddit, and I think that's where I've got the most number of upvotes. And apart from that, there are two subreddits for indie games, and also there's like a subreddit called Game Dev Screens. So yeah.
When it comes to the design of the game, did you have it all planned out from the beginning, or did you start with a game design document, or what's your approach there?
So at the beginning, I just had a a basic draft of what I wanted to create. And the thing is that I had got a bit too much ambitious. I thought I'll just add whatever came to my mind. And since I was thinking about clubbing mechanics from three different games, so yeah, there were like a lot of things, and uh, I realized that I couldn't do it in the time frame, and it would take a long time to complete these. So there came a point where I started working on a design document. So in that document, I started listing everything, and when you actually start writing things down, you realize that uh, these things are going, what things are going to work and what will not work in your game. So you actually expand upon the ideas which you have thought of. So uh, it's great to write things down so that you get a better idea of your game. So once I started doing it, I think things started getting in a bit of an order, and uh, I started cutting down on some stuff which I thought I couldn't implement or it will not work with my game. And that's where I also started planning about how the mechanics will work, how the character progression will happen, and what weapons and levels the player will be going through, the enemy types, and all other things. So I think this part came after I had completed the basic prototype of the game, which involved the bot running up on walls and just using a basic weapon. So after that, I started doing this design document.
Have you been seeing any scope creep, or have you been sticking pretty close to your original idea?
Uh, so I think I'm sticking pretty close to my original idea. Uh, but as I mentioned, like there were few more abilities, and the ability system was a lot different from what I have right now. Uh, so, but those things I have removed because I it did not sit well with the game when I started working on it. So that is something which I removed from the game. But maybe so what I think is that later down the line, if the game does work out well, uh, I might add some additional things as a DLC or some other stuff. So yeah, I think you should have some content which you can add later on if you can't work on it right now.
Was there any system or anything that you had to completely rip out or completely overhaul because you found that it just wasn't working right?
Uh, so the ability system was one, and no, I don't think there was anything uh, like a complete ability set which I removed. I think there were few levels which I had planned to add to the game, but uh, I couldn't do it because of lack of time. And I think the major challenge is adding more levels to the game, because this in this game, like the player has the freedom to go anywhere that they want to go, because you can wall run and use a grapple gun. So you can't limit the player, uh, like the player's play area. So you need to create like uh, big environments where the player has all the freedom to go about, and so it becomes rather difficult to create levels of that size. So that's where I think some of the levels I just remove from the game, because it becomes very complicated.
I can see that. I know there are some people whose entire job is level design by
Yeah,
itself.
and I'm just kind of starting out because I'm not a professional level designer. Uh, so this is my second rodeo. So
If you were to expand and say have funds to hire another person, is there any person or skill set that you would look for to bring on as a second partner or a teammate?
Yeah, so I have thought about it multiple times. So I think the first thing I'll be looking for is a level designer because that is something I feel I'm not that good at. Uh, and it's also difficult for me, so I don't believe I'm really good at level designing. Uh, but I can code uh, well, and at least that's what I think. So uh, the first thing would be definitely a level designer, and the second would be someone who can primarily work on 3D modeling because as of now everything is assets. And then I can think about uh, adding people who work on the coding part. So then I can start segregating the different type, like the different coding things I need require. Like I can separate out the AI part and various logics for the character and all that. So I can separate it out and I can assign to other people. So that's how I think I would go about hiring other people.
Do you have future plans to try and grow a game studio, or do you have other games lined up? What do you see in your future?
So it depends on how this game performs. So the idea was that I would start working on games while I'm working, and to see if I can create something, and if it works out. So works out as in if I can retain a player base, and if I can get some good feedback on the game. So if it is profitable, then I would think about working on another game. And this time definitely I'll hire some more people because it's really difficult to work as a solo dev. uh, and if you have something having this big of a scope, then it really gets hard. So yeah, the next game I'll probably hire some people, and then we'll start working on it, but then it all depends on how well this game does.
So, where can people go to learn more about the game?
So the Steam page has most of the information, and I am constantly posting about the game on Reddit and my X account. So, and also I have a YouTube channel where I post about it. So I don't post any devlogs or anything because they do take a lot of time, and I'm focusing mostly on the development part. But I do post about the game, and if you really want to know more about the game, there's also a press kit for uh, the press basically, so they can go through that as well.
Before we go, is there anything else you would like to promote or plug?
Yeah, so the game is planned to release on July of this year, and uh, I'll be releasing another trailer for the game, so make sure you check it out. And yeah, I hope you have a great time with the game. Do check out the demo on Steam, and I'd love to hear from you what you think about the game.
Where's the best place for people to give you feedback?
So there is a link in the game itself. Like there's a feedback link, so there you can. It's a Google form where you can add some feedback. Otherwise, you can directly add a Steam review on the demo page itself, or you can reach out to me on my X or YouTube channel. So yeah, these are the places.
Perfect. Well, Hirsch, thank you for being with me. I wish you luck with your game, and I'll post all those links along with the video when it's published.
Yeah, thanks, John. It was really nice interacting with you, and yeah, had a great time. Thanks.